The successor to one of the most iconic and meaningful survival city management gaming experiences I've ever had the pleasure to play in the past is finally here. The wait is over. The air is extra chilly. The people are still freezing, and whether or not they survive, that's entirely up to me, I guess. Welcome to Frostpunk 2, everyone. My name is Charlie, and I begin this video with a massive shout out and thank you to AMD and 11-Bit Studios for not only providing this key to Frostpunk 2, but for also supporting this channel by sponsoring this video. It means a great deal to me to have such recognizable brands to work with, so thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hopefully, your trust is not misplaced. AMD, by the way, guys, are also giving a chance to one of you to win one of their limited edition Frostpunk 2 Radeon 7700 XT graphics cards. But more on that in a little bit. I'm going to hit new game in this experience. If you've never seen Frostpunk 2 before, don't worry. I'm here to guide you through it. Everything's going to be fine. We're going to get into an amazing story, and it's going to take us through starting with the prologue. There's a cinematic here that you really got to see to believe. They came upon the old machine as they always do, and when the whiteout hits, they must survive. This game takes place about 30 or so years after the events of Frostpunk 1, so it kind of picks up where you left off, but the game is going to treat you a little bit differently in terms of how you are interacting with these people as the player. You'll see what I mean in a little bit. Let's go ahead and hit this. It says it's 1887. The world froze to death. Civilization crumbled. The failing British Empire built generators to support cities of evacuees, cities that would become the last on Earth. Whether huddled by a generator or out in the open frostland, those that survived were shaped by the ordeal. 30 years later, all became very different people.
Captain. Can you hear us? Captain!
Do you hear us?
A generation ago, we fled the crumbling British Empire as the world froze around us. I held New London together. United, we survived 30 years of whiteouts. But the world around us is dead. Empty.
Ripe for taking. The city grows.
Vestas.
Merely surviving is not enough. We have to expand. After all, it's us who survived the end of the world. It's us who survived.
Yes.
Dude, I'm pumped. That is sick. All right, here we go. It says The Wanderers. This is the prologue, okay? We've been roaming the frozen desert for years. Many of us do not remember a world before the Great Frost. Now, another whiteout is coming. And again, we've reached the old machine. Again, we will rely on its furnace to provide heat through the storm. In the past, we always made sure that there was enough supplies for the next whiteout. But our numbers have grown through the years. Providing for everyone is getting harder and harder. We must survive. The prologue, here we go. Now, if you've never seen Frostpunk before, just the really brief summary here is that we're in a sort of a post-apocalyptic world here. Everything is incredibly frozen. And in the first game, everything was all about keeping that furnace alive so that your town can survive. And it's no different with this game too. We need to keep the furnace alive, but there are a lot of different other elements and a lot of different mechanics in this game that did not exist in the first one. I'm here to help and guide you through it to the best of my ability here. We're gonna fight the cold. The old dreadnought remains in pieces under layers of snow, but the scattered wagons still have resources inside. We must first break ice and reach one of the oil wagons and construct an extraction district to use it. Then we can turn the dreadnought's furnace to heat us. We will restart the furnace, yes. Okay, so the prologue kind of serves as the tutorial, but I've already gone through it, so I want to just kind of give you a brief overview of what we're looking at here. At the top of the screen, we've got our interface over here. We can see our population, we can see our workforce, and also the available workforce, and that's very important to have. We have a lot of people available. We need to put them to work and make sure they're not just sucking down resources without giving us something back, huh? We've got scraps, which will be pretty important for things. We've got prefabs, which will be very important for things as well. And then we have on the right side here, sort of our economics. We have shelter, but there's a lot of them that don't have shelter. We have food, but it's very scarce, so we need to get some now. And we also have materials, and these are used for maintaining a lot of your vehicles, your buildings and stuff, right? I'm seeing trains and train cars and stuff and saying vehicles, but it's used for maintaining that stuff. So if you run out, you're going to start getting errors, you're going to start getting malfunctions and stuff in your equipment, and then you'll have to use the much more expensive prefabs to fix them, which is no good. Obviously, in typical Frostpunk fashion, we also have the current temperature, which is also over here, and we also have a whiteout coming. It says there's a whiteout coming. Now, unlike Frostpunk 1, in this game, we go by weeks, not days. So we're in 88 weeks until the whiteout arrives, and we need to be in survivable condition before that gets here. Okay, so I don't think you're lost anymore. So let's get started here. This is our dreadnought wreck, and it also contains a generator that we need to use to keep everybody warm. But there's no fuel. We need to get to fuel. In order to get to fuel, well, we have to make contact and get connected once more with some of the train cars that we had. And these are oil wagons. This oil is what we're going to use to power the generator. But we need to get to it. And unfortunately, we've got this really harsh permafrost in our way. We can use the frost break mechanic in the game to clear some of that out and make it to where we can at least traverse it a little bit easier. So we're going to click up to 8 tiles that are all next to each other here. And the important thing is that the tile around the resource is cleared, but we can also make, sometimes these districts that we're going to be making, we'll get into that in a second, sometimes these districts that we're going to be making are larger than just that one tile, of course, and so we'll need the surrounding areas to be cleared as well. I'm going to go ahead and clear all the way out to here because we eventually want to get to this as well. The more oil we can obtain regularly, the higher the generator can run, the more we can burn, and then of course more heat for everybody. So I'm going to click this, and we'll get started here. Now, the next thing we need to do is provide shelter for people because they are out in the cold without a shelter, and that's no bueno. We also have this area over here, which is already frost broken, all right? We've already got this area cleared out, and we're going to use this to get people to survive. So we're going to use a housing district. Rather than placing individual buildings, what we do in this game is we place districts of buildings, and then they build those things. But don't think that that's easier. It gets actually much more challenging because now we are looking at the game from a more macro perspective. Lots more people, lots more families, and also lots of factions. Factions of people, little tiny communities or larger communities even that have a variable different influence on the whole perspective of your survivability, and having to manage many different types of factions and their interests is a whole new challenge. So we're going to place the housing right next to the generator, and you can see that there's some areas that are blue. These blue areas signifies that there's a bit of a bonus for placing it there because it's close enough to the generator. So if we claim at least 3 tiles, you can see that the blue flashing parts right there on the overlay. If we place it at least 3 tiles in the blue, we're going to gain plus 20 heat. That's going to reduce the heating requirements that we need to do to satisfy the heat requirements for these people to survive. So the other 3 tiles can be anywhere, but these 3 have to be in there at first. There's also bonuses for placing buildings or placing districts, I suppose. I may use those terms interchangeably, but I mean districts. A lot of times I mean districts. There's also bonuses for placing these districts really close together. So we can get heating bonuses, for example, as long as we have another housing district right next to the first one, as long as there's at least 3 hexagons and we're kind of gridded in this. You can see that there's hexagons, but as long as we place 3 of them next to another one, we get that bonus. So let's speed up time just a little bit here, and we're done breaking the ice out to this way. So what we want to do first, since we've broken the ice out to this way, we're going to place an extraction district on top of the oil. And so that's 3 big. We'll just go ahead and do it like this and hit go. And now like the first game, we would build this big thing with individual buildings to conquer it. But in this game, like I said, it's more macro focused. And so they are building all of these buildings like they know how now to make the whole place operate and make it nice and warm and all these types of things. That will use the resources that we're going to generate here and extract from here. We're going to send them over to the generator, and so the generator can operate. Now we're going to get also another housing district here. So you can see right now that there are 3 tiles that are cleared that we can use for this. I could clear this out and use these instead, but there's not really a whole lot of reason to do that. You only really need to break the frost on tiles that you're looking to use. I'm actually going to go ahead and break the frost down here too, because we have fertile land down here as well. So we're going to want to use that if we can. So I'll go ahead and break the ice around this area. And actually, let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and do it in this direction because it looks like there's other resources over here. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we're going to have access to things now. So let's go ahead and hit this. This is an event. It says oil. As the thick black liquid oozes through the pipes, our people rejoice. The carcass of this old machine is a testament to the hardships that made us, but more importantly, it's our haven in the storm. It has allowed us to weather many whiteouts, and it will do so again. We have oil. We can turn on the furnace. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do that now. We're just going to come over to the generator and hit on. And now the generator is on, and we will have heat for the people. Provide basic infrastructure. The furnace is on. We have enough oil to cover current needs, but the cold will still affect our people until they have a proper shelter. Housing will best protect us from the cold if built in close proximity to other housing or the furnace itself. However, we'll need prefabricated parts for construction. We brought some with us. The rest we'll need to extract from the wagon wreckages. So this is, again, the next thing we need to do here is extract from wreckages for construction parts. I'm still going to pause it here because, well, we're going to see people dying if I don't hurry. So construction wagon is over here. So we need to get in to do this by going out this way. So we'll just make, a little clearing right there. And we're also, I think, going to want to clear out this way later too, just so that we can get to this other oil wagon because we're going to need more oil as well. Now we've already cleared this out. So let's go ahead and get another housing district built here. And as long as we have 3 tiles neighboring the previous housing, we can also get that plus 20 heat bonus for these guys too. So we'll go ahead and do that and hit a go right here. Yep. Now, in addition to that, we're also going to start collecting food. And that's what I cleared down here. So clearing this area down here and getting that frost out of here is going to allow me to do a frost district in the fertile soil area because we need to get that food. So I'm going to go up the mountain like that with that district. Every district that I adds to the requirements that we need in order for them to survive. So if I click this, for example, we can see that it requires, right, 150 workforce, which we had available. It's got deposits are not infinite, so we only have 59k of the resource remaining here, which estimates to about 140 weeks worth of supplies, which we have plenty of that. That's fine. It has a total heat demand. We need to provide heat to this building. Of course, it's going to be providing the fuel for heat, so that's okay. And then it also has a material demand. If we run out of materials, well, that's going to cause this thing to probably fail. And failing to provide them with this can cause something called squalor. Squalor is something that we'll see a little bit later probably, but right now it says squalor is absent. We can always see tutorials on anything just by hitting T. And squalor is going to increase disease and decreases population growth. It is basically a measurement of how polluted the air is and overwhelming dirt and filth and just the general living conditions. If you don't provide materials to maintain those living conditions, then they get worse. All right. So it says, Coleman says, huddle up the camp close together. Easier to trap the warmth. We have a couple people registered as sick. We're working on it. And we got the food district is up and running now, which is good. This will provide us with 45 food. If we look at the top of the screen, we can see, though, that that's still insufficient for what we need. So we need to work on that. We also have enough shelter for everyone now, so that's great. But we're also lacking right now in materials. They're scarce, or they're scarce. And that's going to be a problem, too. So we're going to keep going with our frost expeditions here. All the way out to here we can do now. And I can get this area going. And we can also work our way out this way, too, to try to get over to this area, because there is a maintenance wagon here that has 150,000 materials. So we'll want to work on getting to those materials. All right, this construction wagon, we need to go ahead and build this now. So let's get the extraction district on the construction wagon. Now, there's not a whole lot of material here, so it's going to run out soon. But, we need this stuff for the prefabs that we're going to require to continue to expand. All right, and then finally for frost breaking, we can go ahead and break out this one. That's fine. Go ahead and get that going. All right, so next event. Finnan Kell, 42, gardener, pouring sand in his hands. We've been here so many times. The soil is depleting. A couple more, and there will be no point to erecting the hothouses. There will be nothing to grow food on. And the yield is so low. Either we pull emergency shifts or tighten our belts. Otherwise, there might not be enough for everyone. We may not be able to fill the food stockpiles without exceptional measures. Consider asking the wanderers to tighten their belts or instill emergency shifts in the work districts. So in other words, we're going to it's suggesting, it's our choice always, but it's saying we should consider asking people to eat less, to ration, so that we can stockpile food better, or work double shifts so that we can generate more food, is essentially what it's saying. Okay, frost break to a construction wagon and build it. That's what we're doing right now, that objective. So let's go ahead and let that happen. And while that's happening, let's head over here. And we should see that this is pretty much done. Yep. And I want to keep moving out this way to get even more food if possible. So we'll go out this way too. There we go. So just breaking that frost so that we have it available to us to use. Gain access to food. We have established some heat and shelter for our people. We must now turn our attention to the incoming whiteout. First, we must frost break to the small patches of fertile soil suitable for growing food. I just did that. Like I said, I've done the prologue before just to get a feel for the game so I can explain it to you. So none of this stuff is like, oh, he's just really good. No. We'll get that judgment in the next episode here. First, we must frost break to the small patches of fertile soil. We did that. We must move quickly. Okay. It says we secure our immediate survival. Now we have stockpile. We have to stockpile as much food as we can. It's just said it to me twice. Okay. So let's pause it really quick. I know I'm going to pause it a lot, but it's only because I want to stop and explain things, not so much because it really needs to be paused. The whiteout's arriving in 69 weeks now, and it says that we're not stockpiling food. So this number needs to be a positive number. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to stockpile. And we need to stockpile, like a lot. It's going to require me to stockpile like 40,000 food. So in order to get to the point where we can actually hold that much food, we're going to get a stockpile hub here. And you get a bonus for this if you place it next to where people live and stuff. So I'm just going to place it right here. And we're probably going to need 2 of them, to be honest. I think eventually, yeah, but we'll do it right now anyway because we need it. There we go. Get a couple of stockpiles for food going because we are going to, well, we're gonna be getting that food, man. This is fertile soil over here as well, so let's head over here. Make sure we're getting this area. Get all the way over to that side too if we need to. Okay, now did we get our extraction zone? Oh, well, okay. So I'm running really low on the prefabs that are required for doing this stuff. So if that runs out, I'm gonna be in a bit of a pickle here. So we're gonna need this area here. This is gonna provide us with more prefabs. So I'm working my way over there, right? And this extraction district, we need the materials, otherwise things are gonna start failing. So this maintenance wagon is gonna provide us with materials. So let's go ahead and get that going. Now again, every time I add one of these districts, I am adding more heat requirements for people. And we're eventually going to get to the point where I cannot sustain my population with the current amount of output that this thing has. This is especially true as the winter is about to get worse over time. All right, so yeah, it wants me to stockpile 40,000 food. So, don't have the prefabs yet, scraps, all that stuff, not just yet, but I need another extraction district in order to be able to handle the incoming heat here. So I'm gonna go like this and get that oil wagon hooked up before the winter gets worse. That gives us additional fuel so the generator can run more. So our output will be increased here. Our maximum output will be increased here. Okay, so next thing to worry about is, again, we got to keep getting more and more food if possible. So let's go ahead and get another food district here. There we go. And now, Treya Cleghorn, 62. She's a seamstress, so others may live. My knees ache, and my fingers are stiff. I can't hold the needle anymore. I've lived a full life. It warms my heart to see little Betty and Jacob playing by the evening fire. But maybe this is it. I've talked with the other elders, and if it comes to it, we will go. I won't let my grandchildren starve. So the elders are willing to sacrifice themselves to lower the food requirements. And that is something that will make the game easier for the player. But it's a morality thing. And it's like, and there might be consequences to various different factions and like the overall morale and happiness and trust that the people have in you as their leader, which is a very important thing to still have to manage in Frostpunk like it was in the first game. They have to trust you. And there's this bar down here. This is an overall trust meter here, all right? And it's going to get closer and closer, smaller and smaller, until eventually there's no yellow left. And that's when it's like game over at that point, I assume. I haven't had that happen to me yet, of course, but I assume that's game over there. Got another event down here. It says, shocked at the sight of seals. Seals? I can't believe my eyes. We haven't seen them since before the Great Frost. How do they survive? There's enough meat there to feed everybody. We're saved. But should we slay them? If the Lord spared them from the end of the world too? Again, another thing. Are you going to slaughter all the rest of the seals? Maybe they go extinct now, right? Seal colony can supplement our food production though. So if we're running low on food, that might be the chance. So Frostpunk is a game all about decisions. Just like the first game, we have a lot of different ways we could be successful in this. Slaughtering the seals will give us a lot of extra food. But do we need it? Tightening our belts would also allow us to save up on food. Right now we have a surplus. So you can see how it reads. The gray area is what we're using all the time. And that gold area, I don't know what that color really is. This yellowish gold area, that is beige, khaki. That is our surplus, okay? Now, we're getting 37 per day, which is a pretty good surplus, but it's not enough to save up 40,000 in 51 weeks. It's just not going to work. So we're going to need to increase food production even more. And that's why I'm so focused on moving out here so I can get these 2 food resources. If I can get to these 2 food things, I may not need to club the seals. Maybe not. We'll see. First off, let's get over here so we can have more prefabs available to us in the future. And honestly, I think maybe what we'll do is work our way down here just in case we do want to go club those seals. Make sure the permafrost is out of my way here. All right, so the extraction zone, I think this food district is what I want. Yeah, right here. Let's get this food district up and running too. And if I'm taking a look really quick over here, how many resources are left? We have 1 week of prefabs. Now they're gone. Prefabs are gone here. We can now go ahead and demolish this district. Yes, because there's nothing left there. So we're gonna want to do that. Okay, now you also saw this come in and it said it's getting colder now. And because it's getting colder, our heat requirements are going up. And you can see this right here. We have some red, which means there are some buildings out there that do not have the heat that they need. A mysterious symbol, the captain's legacy. One of our frost-breaking crew uncovered the frozen remains of a man in a tattered uniform. His shoulder patch reads New London Scouts, 3rd Platoon, and he bears an obscure insignia. Some of our elders claim it belongs to a military organization, while others argue it has a religious significance. Maybe you've heard of this New London before and can settle their debate. So this is kind of like the attitude of what we're looking for here. It symbolizes order. A New London is a city of discipline that follows strong leadership where militant squads keep the peace. This will create a community in which New London has embraced order to survive. Okay, so people's understanding of the past will be that New London did this to survive. It symbolizes faith. You could say that New London is a city of devotion and established a new religion and follows the guidance of a zealous clergy, which again, they have embraced faith to survive. Or you could just say that you don't recognize that symbol. And this will create a continuity in which New London has leaned on either order or faith to survive. And it'll kind of be up to people to interpret what it is. And, well, that could be okay from a player perspective, but it could also be disastrous with people fighting with each other. I have no idea how that would work. I've never seen the consequences of this decision before, so I really don't know. I'm going to say it symbolizes faith here just to do it. And we'll see what that does to people in the future. Okay, so they're going to break this camp down. That's going to remove the heat demand that's coming from that camp too. So we might be okay on heat, but we do need to get down to another source of fuel. And we do have more fuel right here. So I'm going to make sure that we have access to that and then also get over here towards these little seals. All right, so we're going to frost break right here. And then we're going to need some more prefabs as well. So let's go ahead and get that going as well. Lack of prefabs. No resources for further construction. That's okay. We're doing that because this is going to give those to us. That's the entire point of getting that, because we're running out of prefabs, and I have to have prefabs to build more. So there we go. So once this thing starts to give me prefabs, we'll be in good shape. At the moment, our materials cost is less than our surplus, or less than our extraction. But I think that might go a bit differently here once this building is operational. Or not. No, it looks like we're good. Yeah, that worked out okay. All right. Now it says we need to place a food district on the seal colony. That's an optional thing. I don't want to do it if I don't have to. I don't want people... I think to really save enough food, though, I am going to ask people to tighten their belts. So to do that, I'm going to click down the Wanderers down here, and I'm going to tell them to tighten their belts. Hunger is going to be significantly increased, but food demand per capita is decreased. So we're going to do this to help us in, again, rations. People aren't going to like that, but, to survive the whiteout, sometimes you got to do things like that. The whiteout draws near. A sacrifice. People in the camp are getting tense. They worry we won't gather enough food in time. Our hunters blame us for ignoring the seal colony and claim that they would have been able to provide enough food for everyone, but it's too late for that now. Many elders have volunteered to walk into the Frostland rather than burden on our resources, to be a burden on our resources. Their sacrifice would significantly reduce the rations we need for the whiteout. What should we do? The whiteout will arrive in 34 weeks. We currently have almost a quarter of our food that we need to stockpile. So the question will be, can we get to more food? Can we get there? Now, I can't slaughter the seals because we don't have a work district on that colony. So that decision, me telling them to do that, is not available to me because I did not get a work district there in time. We also have letting the elders go. So we'll respect the elders' wishes and let them walk into the frost. Of course, they will die. Elders will die. This will not reduce our workforce because elders do not work in this game. They are just consuming. They are not actually producing anything. The food required to survive the whiteout will decrease greatly. In other words, we're going to have a bigger surplus without them here. And then don't resort to extremes. This will make everybody happy because their loved ones will be there, but it also is very risky because if we fail, everybody will die, right? So this is one of those decisions we have to try to make if we can. I'm trying my best to have everybody live here. I think because I've done the prologue before, I might be able to pull this off. But when I played it before, I did let the elders go to be successful. So I'm going to try. We might fail here, but I'm going to try it with not letting the elders walk into the frost. And we'll see what happens here. Better 2 meals a day now than no meals a day later. So to counteract that and making it to where our elders are not going in the frost. Man, I need that generator up now, don't I? I need that right now. Hang on. Get that extraction district right here. I need that. I need it. What we're going to do is we're going to start limiting some of our consumptions for heat just to help out a little bit. So over here, we have this extraction district here, and it has this 30 heat demand. And right now, it's producing just enough surplus here. If I reduce this, okay, so it's still not quite enough to keep it operational. So I think that's fine. But you can reduce this meter here, and that will reduce how much they output. You know, because it's basically like you're taking and having less people there. So because you have less people there, they have less requirements, that kind of thing. But that's unfortunate because I can't keep a surplus doing that. We currently have 150 available. Yeah, okay. We're gonna have to keep that on. Over here to get our prefabs though, I'm not sure we need prefabs quite this quickly. We have 123 of them available now. I'm gonna go ahead and reduce this. And that might help me in catching up with our heat demand, especially when this district comes online and gives me more fuel. So we'll see how that goes. I'm also going to order that our food producing buildings, trust is going to fall slightly, but we're going to need this stuff done. We're going to have them work double shifts on food production. That is going to reduce trust. You can see that meter already dropping down. We're going to work double shifts on those two food producers in an effort to increase food production without killing the seals and without killing our elders. Okay? Let's see what we can do. Okay. So our heat, we have 3 unfulfilled. That's not that bad. Three's not a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal anyway. This food district here, we could work double shifts there too. Trust is going to fall a lot, but I think I got enough to handle it. We'll be all right. Okay, so now we've got double shifts on all of those food production buildings. We have 25 weeks left. Can we get to where we need in this amount of time? It's always the question here. Let's go ahead and reduce this even more. Now we have heat for everybody. That'll make everybody happy. We've got a 127 material surplus for food. We have people who are returning to work after being sick, so they survived. And we have just enough material surplus here to keep everything operational as it is, which is pretty nice. Yep. Okay, looks like we're pretty good here. Is there any more frosty stuff that we want to do here? Oh, we can't do frost breaking. We can't do frost breaking because it requires the workforce, and we don't have enough workforce to do it. So we're kind of capped out on what we have here. And if we had people dying this whole time, we'd have even less workforce. All right, this is gone. There's no food left in here. So we're going to go ahead and demolish this district. We've exhausted all the food supply there. And that should free up some workers, I think, to get us another food district over here. So let's go ahead and do that. We're just going to basically move it from there to here. Again, trying not to kill the seals. I did kill the seals last time, and it doesn't look like it doesn't quite look like we're going to make it. 6 weeks left with this much. It doesn't look like we're quite going to get there, guys. Oh, boy. Okay, we need to do something here. Let's say... It's not about, it's a housing thing. I want to get it to where we can have more food, but I think we're out of time. I don't think we're going to survive the winter. Oh boy, 5 weeks left. It's going up fast, but I don't think it's going up fast enough. I think I needed to club the damn seals. I think I should have clubbed the seals. When in doubt, club the seals, okay? That's the bottom line. If you have any doubts on whether you can do this, kill the seals. Because I think because I didn't kill the seals, we're out of time here. Let's go ahead and make these guys emergency shifts. Yeah, you should be revoked. Oh, no. I want that up. Yeah, is that working on both? Yeah, I want that up on all of them. Oh boy. 1 week left and we're not going to have enough food to survive the whiteout. So that says less than a week. Oh boy. Well, how many people will survive the whiteout? Does anyone survive it? I don't know. Whiteout is here. Preparations are over. I should have let the elders go. I should have clubbed the damn seals is what I should have done. Definitely should have clubbed the seals. Oh boy. Well, let's see what happens. The Wanderers did not survive. Everyone dies. Yeah. Everyone dies for that, yeah. Chaos and starvation. When the whiteout hit the camp, the Wanderers were forced to take shelter within the broken dreadnought. They huddled together while howling winds buffeted the rusted hull. As the storm continued, it became clear, buffeted or buffeted? I said buffeted, but I don't know. Anyway, it became clear that there was not enough food. They sacrificed themselves to give their share to their families. Others tried to control the stockpile through violence. The conflict escalated. Fires broke out within the dreadnought, spoiling the precious supply. The few remaining survivors who emerged from the dreadnought soon splintered and disappeared into the Frostland. So why have I showed you a failure? Well, one, I wanted to show you that in this game, you have to make difficult decisions. You can't just save everyone. You can't say, oh, I want everyone to live. Sometimes some have to die for the greater good. You can't just say, oh, I'm trying to be morale. I don't want to kill the animals. Well, if I had clubbed the seals, every one of my people would be surviving right now, right? And I'm going to show you that by skipping ahead here and showing you how cool it is to actually succeed in this. Just like it would be really, really cool to win a card. You could win a graphics card from AMD because they're giving away a limited edition Frostpunk 2 Radeon 7700 XT GPU with 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory, nearly 2600 megahertz of boost clock, and AMD's new RDNA 3 architecture to give you the performance you desire in today's modern games, all while keeping things nice and cool. If you'd like to be a part of this giveaway, you can get your chance to win with a link in the description of this video. Okay, so back to Frostpunk 2. Sorry about the little ad segment. A link to the game also, by the way, is also in the description. Okay, so back into Frostpunk 2, and we're going to go ahead and club those damn seals now. So we're going to need an extraction here to keep up with the heat, but we're also going to need to get those seals going. So I'm going to wait until I've got enough of the prefabs and stuff to make a food district, which should be any second now. I need to get to 140. There it is. And we're going to go ahead and put a food district right here on the seals. There we go. And now we have the event. And I think that event is... I have to answer it now, yeah. But because I've placed that camp, I now have the ability to click slaughter the seals. So that's what we're going to do to increase food production. Okay, so that's going to help us with foods. Now, we also need to make sure that we're really good here. So I am going to initiate some emergency shifts on these two buildings here, just to kind of get us even more food, stockpiling there. But now that we have this extra source of food here, we're able to generate an additional 80 food output. And that is going to make up the difference that we were lacking before. But this means I still don't need the elders to walk out into the frost. I still don't need that. The issue I'm going to have right now, though, is that materials are dwindling, and I don't have any in the stockpile. So some things are going to start breaking, too. We will not go hungry, it says. It won't come off. I keep rubbing my hands in the snow, but the blood won't come off. At least we'll not go hungry. We did what we had to. Yes, we had to. We didn't ask for this world. We had no choice. Couldn't risk going hungry. I could still hear the cry of the pups as we were clubbing their mothers. At least they didn't mourn for them long. Oh, what have we done? It won't come off. Food production has significantly increased due to indiscriminate seal slaughtering. Well, we did it. Had to happen. And the 709 weeks worth of food here. That's insane. That's a lot of seals. I don't know why there's that many seals, but there's that many seals. Okay, so we really need. This is another food district here. I'm curious. I need warmth. So this output is 45. That's already doing 80. I'm going to cancel this one. I'm going to demolish this district. And we're going to get the workforce freed up so that we can have this extraction zone because we really need that heat. So we're going to move those workers to here. Because otherwise people are going to start dying. And obviously people dying, well, that ain't going to be good either. People are starting to get sick. There we go. Okay. So now we have a 15... I have a problem with 15 there. Let's go to the prefabs now and reduce the heat requirements in this building, and that should do it right there. That gives us the heat for every building we need. Okay, cool. So now we have 18 weeks left, and we're more than halfway there. And we have a 139 surplus, which is much more than we had before at this time period. Now, we still have these guys tightening their belts, right? That's still a thing? Apparently not. It wasn't even rationing yet. Wow. That would have been helpful because I may still not get it. Guess we'll find out. Let's real quick go ahead and demolish that. That gives us what we need to have even more food if we want to. And I can put that food district back over here now. So let's go ahead and build that because I can now. Okay, let it run. Our stockpile is still going up. 35,000, 5 weeks left. We can make it to 40K now. I'm certain of it. We can make it to 40K now. There it goes. 38K. Oh my gosh. We almost didn't make it. Let's go ahead and, yep, food is secured. We did it. We secured enough food to survive the incoming whiteout. Our workers will make some last-minute preparations before the storm arrives. We should try and keep our people warm for this, but we will survive. All right, let's go ahead and tell them they don't have to do big work shift anymore. That's okay. And it's here. We made it to 40,000 food just in time for this whiteout. Preparations are over. So I really wanted to show both outcomes. And also, I wasn't hoping for a failure, but I was kind of hoping to show you both outcomes. But I also wanted to see if it was possible to keep the elders and the seals and survive. And I mean, maybe it is. If I, do double work shifts for everybody and tighten their belts immediately and all that, maybe it is. But I think in general, you got to do one of those two things. The Great Hunt, the Wanderer's survival. When the whiteout hit the camp, the Wanderers were ready. They huddled together while howling winds fed the rusting hull, right? Many think it was short-sighted to butcher the last seals, but the elders who almost walked into the frost were grateful. They told stories of an empire before the winter came, the haunted pit of Winterhome, and a sinful city that still pumps smoke into the sky. The Wanderers emerged shaken but determined to continue their journey. They pray for the day the whiteouts stop. The storms are fewer and further between. Maybe one day their prayers will be answered. We survived the end of the world. And that's the prologue. But what comes next? Yeah, let's find out. The old captain is dead. New London is weak. Food is low. Overpopulation looms. Coal is running out. People yearn for a future worth dreaming of. But is it the same future for all? Keep the city together. That's the goal, man. Or hold its hand on its deathbed. Yeah, that's not the goal. The goal is to keep everything together. That's everything we need to do. Scraping the barrel. Okay, so coal is running out. The captain is dead. As he weakened, growing divisions brought city maintenance to a grinding halt. And now, New London is left to suffer the consequences. As steward, it is your charge to lead, but you must prove yourself. The overcrowded city is low on resources. Use this warmer year to build more shelter, secure coal, and power the generator back on. This is a warmer year. This is a warmer year. Yeah, so this is the new map, at least for this chapter, in Frostpunk 2. And the next video will have us starting right here. There's a lot of stuff to cover. I hope you'll come back for the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you again to AMD and 11-Bit Studios for sponsoring this video. I appreciate it. All those links I mentioned down in the description. You guys have a wonderful day and stay warm. Bye-bye.